Good morning, dear students. Our last session in organic chemistry, that is the ultrasound assisted organic synthesis. You have heard of this ultrasound, isn't it? Ultrasound means it is the sound waves. It will be having a frequency which is not audible to our ears, isn't it? And also the frequency of this ultrasound radiations or ultrasound waves, it will be greater than 16 kilohertz. It will be greater than 16 kilohertz, and also it is this human ears cannot respond to this ultrasound waves, or it is not audible for us for human ears. And also these are very high frequency radio waves, sound waves, and it is above 16 kilohertz. The frequency it is above 16 kilohertz. Normally they are used, this ultrasound waves, they are used in medical equipments. Ultrasound waves are used in medical equipments. And again, there are two types of ultrasound. That is the first one, two types of ultrasound. The first one, that is the power ultrasound. Power ultrasound. And the second one, that is the high frequency ultrasound. Power ultrasound, and second one, high frequency ultrasound. This power ultrasound, it has got a frequency of about 20 to 100 kilohertz. 20 to 100 kilohertz, while in the case of high frequency ultrasound, it is between 2 to 10 megahertz. 2 to 10 megahertz, and while in the case of this power ultrasound, it is about 20 to 100 kilohertz. And also this power ultrasound, it is used for cleaning purposes. It is used in cleaning, then plastic welding, cleaning, plastic welding, then chemical reactions, cleaning, plastic welding, chemical reactions, while in the case of high frequency ultrasound, it is used in metal scanning and chemical analysis. So these are about the classification of ultrasound, power ultrasound and high frequency. This power ultrasound, it is having a frequency of 20 to 100 kilohertz, while in the case of high frequency, it is about 2 to 10 megahertz, and some of the uses of this power ultrasound as well as high frequency ultrasound. Again, how to generate this ultrasound? How to generate this ultrasound frequency? See, in this generation of ultrasound, the instrument used is an ultrasonic transducer. For the generation of ultrasound, we are using an ultrasonic transducer. And also this ultrasonic transducer means it is a device which converts electrical or mechanical energy. This device converts electrical or mechanical energy to sound energy. That is the purpose of using this ultrasonic transducer. It will be converting electrical or mechanical energy to sound energy. And again, this ultrasonic transducers, they are made up of cords. They are made up of cords, and also it will be working on the based on the principle of piezoelectric effect. It will be working on the basis of the principle of piezoelectric effect. And also this piezoelectric effect means it is the sometimes you might have studied this piezoelectric effect. See, regarding the generation of ultrasound, you have to note these points. It is generated using a device called as ultrasonic transducer, and it is a device which will be converting electrical or mechanical energy to sound energy, and it is made up of cords and is based on the principle of piezoelectric effect. And also in the case of piezoelectric effect, it is the when a crystal, it is subjected to sudden compression. When a crystal, it is subjected to a sudden compression, what happens is that a potential difference is developed between the opposite faces of that crystal. Okay, when a crystal, it is subjected to sudden compression, a potential difference is developed at the opposite faces of that particular crystal. That is what is called as the piezoelectric effect. So when we can consider the reverse of this thing, that is the principle of this piezoelectric effect is that when is a crystal, it is subjected to sudden compression, a potential difference is developed across the opposite faces of that crystal. And again we can consider the reverse of this one, that is when an alternating potential it is placed on the faces of a crystal. When an alternating potential, when it is placed on the across the faces of a piezoelectric crystal, an inverse effect is produced. That means the crystal will be having some dimensional changes. Okay, the crystal will be developing some dimensional changes inside the crystal, and this dimensional changes leads to the generation of sound energy. Okay, so this is the principle used in applied in this ultrasonic transducers. Okay, so when an alternate potential it is applied across the faces of a piezoelectric crystal, some dimensional changes will be developed inside the crystal, and as a result a sound energy will be produced, or it will be having a vibrational sound energy will be developed. So this is the principle used in this ultrasonic transducers. And also in modern ultrasonic equipments, this piezoelectric transducers, they are made from ceramic impregnated barium titanate. Okay, so this is the piezoelectric transducers. They are made from the ceramic impregnated barium titanate. And also when normally these sound waves will be having some compressions and rarefactions, that is oscillation of the molecule will be taking place when this alternating potential it is passed through it, and as a result some compressions and rarefactions will be there. As a result of the compression cycle, what happens, the average distance between the molecules will be reduced, and again in the rarefaction what happens, the attractive forces between the molecules will be overcome, and there results in the formation of bubbles. Due to rarefaction, what happens, the formation of bubbles will be developed, and as a result and also these bubbles will collapse at a very high temperature, that is around 5000 degrees Celsius, and also very high pressure also. This very high temperature and pressure will be leading to chemical reactions. Okay, so this is the principle based on principle in this piezoelectric crystal. Okay, or the principle going on in this ultrasonic transducers. And also here one more point you have to note down is that this 95 in this ultrasonic transducers, 95% of the electrical energy will be converted to ultrasound. Okay, 95% of the electrical energy will be converted to ultrasonic sound. So this is regarding the ultrasonic assisted organic synthesis and the generation of the ultrasound. Then the next one, that is the application. In between there is a definition, sonochemistry, and the sonochemistry, it is the effect of ultrasound waves on chemical reaction. That is that particular area we can call it as the sonochemistry study dealing with the effect of ultrasound waves on chemical reaction. Next is the applications of this ultrasound in chemical synthesis. Applications of ultrasound in chemical synthesis. So the first application, that is it is used in esterification reaction. Esterification means it is the reaction between an acid as well as an alcohol. Here we are using an ultrasonic ultrasonic sound also, and also a simple reaction RCOOH plus R-OH in the presence of sulfuric acid at room temperature. In the presence of sulfuric acid at room temperature, and again an ultrasound. See, ultrasound, it is given in your textbook like this, ultrasound. Okay, so the product will be an ester, RCOO R-. Okay, then the second reaction, that is the saponification. saponification reaction. So in all these reactions, this ultrasound is used. Saponification reaction. In your textbook, one example is given. That is, see here, by using ultrasonic sound, the rate of the reaction can be increased. Okay, that is the main advantage of using this ultrasounds, and also the reactions can be carried out under mild conditions also. See here, we are using sulfuric acid, and also the temperature, it is at room temperature. So this is also a part of green chemistry. We have no need of heating that particular reagents, isn't it? The reaction will be taking place at room temperature itself by using this ultrasound. So it is a part of green chemistry. Then the next one, that is the saponification reaction. So here in saponification reaction, the compound used, it is this compound, C6H3COOCH3. Then at the ortho position there is CH3, and at the para position there is another CH3. Okay, so the compound, this is methyl 2,4-dimethyl benzoate. Methyl 2,4-dimethyl benzoate. So here the reaction, it is taking place in the presence of an alkali and water. Then 60 minutes. Then ultrasound. Okay, ultrasound is used. So here it is saponification reaction. So this group, that is COOCH3, it will be converted to COOH. That is, an acid will be generated. C6H4COOH. Then here at this position, the CH3 group will be coming. That is, at the meta position, CH3 group is coming, and also in the para position, one CH3. So the compound is 2,4. This compound is methyl 2,4-dimethyl benzoate. Sorry. At this position, CH3. Okay. So the compound again, it is 2,4-dimethyl benzoic acid. 2,4-dimethyl benzoic acid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2 in the second and the fourth positions, there are 2 CH3 groups. So the compound will be 2,4-dimethyl benzoic acid. Okay, so here this 2,4-dimethyl benzoic acid, the yield will be about 94%, while in the normal process of heating with aqueous alkali, the yield will be only 15%. So the yield will be increased from 15 to 94% by the use of this ultrasound. Okay. So that is the saponification reaction. Then the third one, that is the hydrolysis reaction. Hydrolysis. See here in the textbook, the methyl group, it is given at the third position. You have to correct it and write it at the second position. Okay. Then the next one, that is the hydrolysis. So hydrolysis of a CN group. Hydrolysis of a CN group, C6H5CN, in presence of OH minus bar H2O, alkali hydrolysis, that is what is represented by OH minus. Again, in the presence of an ultrasonic sound, CN group will be hydrolyzed to, normally on hydrolysis, CN group will be hydrolyzed to COOH. C6H5COOH. So here the yield is about 33%, but while we are using normal conditions, normal chemical reaction, this the yield will be only 15%. So here by using ultrasound, the yield is increased from 15 to 33%. Okay, so that is the hydrolysis reaction. So these are the three important applications, that is esterification, saponification and hydrolysis. Hope you are clear up to this. Then the next is another important topic, that is the phase transfer catalysis. Phase transfer catalysis. Phase transfer catalysis. See here, normally sometimes you have seen these organic compounds, they are not at all soluble in water, isn't it? They are insoluble in water. Organic compounds are insoluble in water, and while we are treating these organic compounds for doing a chemical reaction, while if we are treating these organic compounds with some of the reagent which is soluble in water. For example, alkyl halides. See, alkyl halides, they are soluble in water. Okay. So when treated with this type of compounds, these reagent, it is soluble in water, isn't it? It is soluble in water, but the organic compound, it is insoluble in water, isn't it? So what happens is that the reaction will be taking place only at a lower rate. Okay, the reaction will not be so fast. Since the organic compound is insoluble in water, it will be remaining as such, but the reagent, it is soluble in water, and only the chemical reaction will takes place only at the interface of these two reactions. See, suppose we can say this is the organic compound, and also this is the organic compound. So here suppose we are adding a reagent which is soluble in water. Okay, so this will be like this. Okay, this will be separated as two layers, and what happens is that the reaction will be taking place at this interface only. That is, very small part of the organic compound will be reacting with this reagent. Okay, that means the reaction will be taking place only at the interface, and also we have to mix it thoroughly. Then also the yield will be very low. Okay, so in such reactions are actually a waste of this reagents, isn't it? Not so much yield will be obtaining, and also the reaction will be taking place taking a longer time, much longer duration will be there for the reaction to occur. And as a result, what happens? The organic compound, it will not be going to the water layer, or this particular reagent will not be coming to the organic compound. The reaction will be taking place only at this particular interface. So, in order to avoid the wastage of these chemicals, a certain type of compounds are used, or a catalyst can be used for the reaction to take place with a high yield. Okay, or the reaction to take place in a much faster rate. Okay, here the yield will be very low. In such a case, the yield will be low. At the same time, the reaction rate will be very slow. Okay, the reaction rate also slow, and the yield will be slow. So in order to avoid this situation, we are using some different type of catalyst, and this type of catalyst, they are called as the phase transfer catalyst. And this phase transfer catalyst, it will be helping to migrate the reactant from one phase to another phase. Okay, the reactant will be supported by this catalyst by transferring or by migrating from one phase to another phase. Okay, so such type of catalyst, it will be soluble both in water as well as the organic solvents. Okay, so the phase transfer catalyst, we can write it as PTC. The phase transfer catalyst, it will be soluble both in water as well as organic solvents. The phase transfer catalyst will be soluble both in water as well as organic solvents. So this will facilitate the reaction to take place. So that is what is called as a phase transfer catalyst. And also we can see the definition for phase transfer catalysis. And phase transfer catalysis means it is the acceleration of the reaction. It is the acceleration of the reaction caused by the addition of a phase transfer catalyst. Caused by the addition of a phase transfer catalyst, that is PTC. Okay, so this phase transfer catalyst, they are soluble both in water as well as organic solvents and as organic compound or organic reagent. So it will be helping to accelerate the chemical reaction. Okay, so that is the importance of using this phase transfer catalysis. And also some important points are to be noted for successful phase transfer catalyst reaction. Some of the factors which are favoring this PTC reactions or phase transfer catalysis are: first one, the solvent should be aprotic. The solvent should be aprotic, and also it is immiscible with water. It is regarding the solvent. The solvent should be aprotic and it should be immiscible with water. And also, if protic solvents are used, it will be reacting with the anions and will be leading to poor reaction or poor reactivity. Then the second point is that larger the number of carbon atoms around the central nitrogen atom. One more thing I forgot to tell you. Normally this phase transfer catalyst, they are ionic substances, PTC. They are normally ionic substances. We are using ionic substances as phase transfer catalyst, and usually it is quaternary salt of ammonium. Okay, quaternary ammonium salts are used as this phase transfer catalyst. Quaternary ammonium means, suppose NH4Cl, that is ammonium chloride, the 4 hydrogens are replaced by 4 methyl group or 4 ethyl group. Then what happens here? It becomes, if it is replaced by 4 ethyl group, it will be NC2H5 4 times Cl minus N plus. So this is a quaternary ammonium salt, isn't it? So such type of compounds are used in this phase transfer catalysis. Okay, so that is another important point to be noted down. So the phase transfer catalyst, normally they are ionic in nature, and also they are usually this quaternary ammonium salt. And this quaternary ammonium salt means it will be a cation which is having a bigger size. See the size, it has got 4 ethyl groups attached to it, isn't it? So it has got a somewhat bigger size, and also this bigger size, it will make this cation lipophilic. Lipophilic means, as a result of the bigger size means, bigger size of this cation means it will be lipophilic. Lipophilic means it will be soluble in organic solvents. Okay, these compounds, they will be soluble in organic solvents. So that is the point to be noted down. So this bigger size of the cation leads to lipophilic nature. Lipophilic means it will be soluble in organic solvent. That is what we require, isn't it, for the reaction to take place much faster. Okay. So the factors favoring this PTC or phase transfer catalyst are, the first one, the solvent should be aprotic, and the second one, larger number of carbon atoms. Larger number of carbon atoms around the central nitrogen. Around the central nitrogen atom. See, suppose if while comparing this NC2H5 twice Cl minus N plus and NCH3 4 times a methyl group, okay, NCH3 4 times Cl minus, while comparing these two, see, this compound has got a greater number of carbon atoms, isn't it? So that means as the number of carbon chain increases, what happens? The lipophilicity also increases. Okay. So in this case, the lipophilicity is greater while comparing to this one. So the lipophilicity increases with the number of carbon atoms around the central nitrogen atom. And also one of the best example given in your textbook, that is quaternary butyl chloride, that is quaternary N-butyl chloride. Butyl chloride means it has got 4 carbon atoms, isn't it? So it will be having much more lipophilicity. So these are the important points to be noted down while considering the case of a phase transfer catalysis. Hope you are clear with this phase transfer catalysis. It is very simple, and also you have to go through the points also. And also in your textbook, some examples are there. I will be showing you. Okay. See, this phase transfer catalyst used are methyl trioctyl ammonium chloride N plus CH3, then benzyl trimethyl ammonium chloride or bromide. Then so many examples, 9-10 examples are given that you have to note it down in your notebook also. Okay. See, then benzyl triethyl ammonium chloride or TEBA, then tetra N-butyl ammonium chloride, instead of chloride we can use bromide, chloride or hydroxide. Then methyl triethyl ammonium chloride, then catyl triethyl ammonium chloride, benzyl tributyl, then benzyl triphenyl phosphonium iodide, tetra N-pentyl, tetra N-hexyl, etc. Then hexadecyl tributyl phosphonium tribromide. So these are, see, in all the cases it has got quaternary ammonium salt, isn't it? It has got an N plus, isn't it? All of them will be having an N plus, and here it has got P plus. Okay, so the main main thing is that while considering the case of PTC, it should be having a nitrogen atom and also a longer number of carbon chain. Okay. Then the next is advantages of using phase transfer catalysis. This advantages also, it is very simple, that is they have got a mild reaction condition, simplicity, so many points are there. See here, Advantages, the first one, this requires only mild reaction conditions. Second one, simplicity of the procedure, easy for the reaction to take place. Then the next one, do not require expensive aprotic solvents, do not require high temperatures. Since water is used as one of the phases, there is no need of anhydrous conditions. So normally for anhydrous conditions in order to create anhydrous conditions, it is difficult. We have to add so much of other reagents to create this anhydrous conditions. But here, no need of this. Here water is used in one of the phases, isn't it? So no anhydrous conditions are required. Then minimization of industrial waste, that is green chemistry is followed. The principles of green chemistry is followed there. Then high yields and purity of products is there. Then most of the reactions can be carried out with the help of PTC, except some reactions which are highly sensitive to water. That means some highly exploding reactions, etc., that we cannot use this PTC. Then high reactivity and selectivity of the active species. Then several reactions which require strong bases like alkoxide, sodamide, etc., and etc. can proceed even by OH minus as it becomes strongly nucleophilic in the presence of PTC. Okay. Then low investment cost. So these are some of the advantages of phase transfer catalyst. So these points you have to note it down and also you have to write it in your lecture notes itself. I am not writing it again. And also so these are some of the important points. Suppose a short note will be asked regarding the phase transfer catalysis. It is a very important topic. Then the next one, that is the last part, that is applications of this phase transfer catalysis. Applications of phase transfer catalysis in organic synthesis. Applications of PTC. Okay. So here some of the important PTC reactions normally we are doing. The first one, that is the synthesis of nitriles from alkyl halides. Synthesis of nitriles from alkyl halides. Nitriles from alkyl halides. For example, alkyl halide RX plus nitriles or cyanides, isn't it? So sodium cyanide in presence of PTC, what happens? The X will be removed as NaX, isn't it? So the product will be RCN, alkyl cyanide or alkyl nitrile. So here the reaction, it is carried out in presence of a quaternary ammonium salt or a phase transfer catalyst. And also the example given in your textbook, it is this compound, that is C6H5CH2Br plus NaCN. Okay, so here NaBr will be eliminated. The product will be C6H5CH2CN. Okay. And also the phase transfer catalyst used is C6H5CH2N plus CH3 thrice Cl minus. And also it took 3 hours to complete the reaction at a temperature of 90 to 95 degrees Celsius. So this compound, the compound is 2-phenyl, this compound is 2-phenyl ethyl bromide. 2-phenyl ethyl bromide. On reaction with sodium cyanide, the product is 3-phenyl propiononitrile. Okay. Then the next reaction, synthesis of benzyl cyanide from benzoyl chloride. Synthesis of benzoyl cyanide. Benzoyl cyanide, not benzyl. It is benzoyl cyanide from benzoyl chloride. Benzoyl chloride, the formula is C6H5COCl, isn't it? So the starting compound is benzoyl chloride, C6H5, C double bond O, Cl plus NaCN. See here, this is the organic compound and this is the compound which is soluble in water, or it is the aqueous part. So here the phase transfer catalyst is used, and the catalyst, it is quaternary butyl ammonium chloride. Okay, quaternary butyl ammonium chloride. So the compound formed will be C6H5COCN. This NaCl will be eliminated. Sorry, this is NaCN. Okay, so this compound will be eliminated. This is NaCN, you have to correct it, sorry. So the product will be C6H5, C double bond O, then Cn. That is benzoyl cyanide. benzoyl cyanide. Okay. Then the next reaction, third reaction, preparation of sodium alkyl sulfonates. Preparation of sodium alkyl sulfonates. Preparation of sodium alkyl sulfonates, and it is from synthesis, it is from alkyl halides. For example, this benzyl chloride, that is C6H5, CH2Cl, benzyl chloride. Don't confuse with benzoyl chloride and benzyl chloride. This is benzyl chloride. It's a YL. Benzyl chloride. In the previous reaction, we had written benzoyl chloride. This is benzoyl chloride. Okay, so this benzyl chloride in presence of sodium bisulfite, Na2SO3. So this is the organic part and this is the aqueous part, isn't it? Sodium bisulfite in the presence of C2H5 4 times N plus Cl minus, that is tetraethyl ammonium chloride. Okay, tetraethyl ammonium chloride at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. And also 2 hours will be taken for the reaction to complete, and also the product will be C6H5 CH2 then SO3 Na, that is 1 Na and Cl will be eliminated. Okay, C6H5 CH2 SO3 Na. Okay, C6H5 CH2 SO3 Na, 1 Na will be eliminated as NaCl. Okay, plus NaCl, and the yield will be about 98%. Okay, so this is the preparation of sodium alkyl sulfonate. So here this is sodium benzyl sulfonate. Then the next one, preparation of aryl ethers from phenol. Fourth one, preparation of aryl ethers. Preparation of aryl ethers from phenols. So here phenol, phenol C6H5OH plus an alkyl halide. So this aryl ethers, it is prepared from phenol in the presence of alkyl halide. So in the presence of alkyl halide, if the PTC used here, it is C6H5 CH2 then C4H9 thrice N plus Cl minus in presence of NaOH. Okay. So this compound, it is benzyl trioctyl then ammonium chloride. Benzyl, this is benzyl group, then trioctyl ammonium chloride. Okay. This is benzyl trioctyl ammonium chloride. So this PTC is very important. You should not omit that topic. Okay, that is why I had kept it to the last portion and also taking it in detail. Okay, so this is the reaction phenol in presence of alkyl halide, and also the phase transfer catalyst used here PTC is benzyl trioctyl ammonium chloride, and again the product will be an ether, that is aryl ether will be obtained. That is AR, so I will be writing it like this, C6H5OR, that is one hydrogen and HX will be eliminated, so it will be C6H5OR. Okay, C6H5OR. Then the fifth reaction, that is the alkylation of aldehydes. Alkylation of aldehydes. Alkylation of aldehydes. See here aldehydes which is having an alpha hydrogen atom, it is alkylated. For example, CH3, CH, CHO, CH3. See this compound, it is having an alpha hydrogen atom. See this is the functional group attached to carbon. This is the alpha carbon, so this is the alpha hydrogen. So this compound, it is having an alpha hydrogen atom, and the compound, it is isobutyraldehyde. Isobutyraldehyde. Okay, this compound is isobutyraldehyde plus benzyl chloride C6H5 CH2Cl plus benzyl chloride in the presence of an alkali and benzene, alkali or benzene in the presence of quaternary butyl ammonium chloride Bu4 plus Ni minus, iodide, quaternary butyl ammonium iodide at 70 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. So these are the conditions. In presence of aqueous NaOH, quaternary butyl ammonium iodide at 70 degrees Celsius and 2 hours. The product will be this C6H5, CH2, CH3, then CH3, CHO. Okay. So at this alpha position, this hydrogen atom, it will be reacting with this chlorine atom and HCl will be eliminated. And at this position, the CH2, C6H5 will be joining. Okay, the CH2, C6H5 will be joining to this carbon atom. So the product, it will be like this. And the compound, it is 2,2-dimethyl. This is 1, this is 2, isn't it? So 2,2-dimethyl, 3-phenyl. So this is the third carbon atom. To the third carbon atom, 1 phenyl group is attached, 3 phenyl, and in total this is this group, it is propionaldehyde, 3 phenyl propionaldehyde. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Then for second carbon atom, 3 methyl groups, third carbon atom, 1 phenyl group. Okay, so this is not the chain, this is the chain. Okay, this is the longest chain. And also you have to write the IUPAC name. So the compound, it is propionaldehyde. Okay. Then the next reaction, the last reaction, that is the esterification reaction. Esterification reaction. So here in this esterification reaction, normally sodium salt of a carboxylic acid plus an alkyl halide. What happens, this Na and X will be eliminated, and in the presence of a phase transfer catalyst, the product will be an ester RCOOR plus NaX. Here also a phase transfer catalyst is used. Okay, so this is esterification. Here a phase transfer catalyst is used for the reaction to take place much faster. Okay, so this is regarding the phase transfer catalyst and the applications of phase transfer catalyst. So only this much portions for your organic chemistry, and also your S5 portions are over by now. And if you have got any doubts while studying, you can call me and please ask me. Don't reluctant to be calling me. So thank you for now. Bye.